Okay, so I just had this TV turned on. I'm going to make a video on this. Michaela, I just turned it on. I don't know how well they have this program on this television, but I clicked through the channels and it goes to this crime TV show. And there's a crooked police officer detective and he goes, I truly believe that what I was seeing was really I truly believe was, so what they're doing, what's going on, I know this sounds crazy, but what they're doing is, I don't know if they're broadcasting live to these corrupted pigs or what's going on, but what they're doing is they're going to try to transfer the situations. As soon as they pin me down and they corner me in every which way that they can to make Ken Cooper and Sarah Cooper justified and change that story to cover that up, they're going to try to get me to say, oh, I truly believe that I was just seeing things and I was just crazy, you see? I was just crazy, just making shit up, and I was just crazy and I'm sorry. No, that's a bunch of garbage fucking bullshit. So please be careful. The separation is going to so much of this. The reason it's being done this way is because, Michaela, they know you're half white. You know your mother's white. And that's why. It's always going to affect you when there's a racist thing, especially when there's a dividing tool that they're going to be using. Because I'm full Latin and you're half Mexican, half white. So that's why they're doing this. Because they want you to mentally and emotionally be separated with this situation. And that's why, because it'll put you in a different category and more likely for you to persecute against me and less likely to help me. So I want to make this very clear. I just caught this motherfucker, this pig. So I want to make this very clear. They're trying to do some sort of psychological giveaway, car giveaway, and what they're doing is they're trying to cement and staple that to Sarah and Ken's car and Madison's car giveaway, and it's stapled to their religion, so that there's a vehicle that I use that is strictly used as a religious crucifix video. And I cannot express this enough. They're trying to change the fucking story and lie. I'm not making this up. I am not crazy. I'm not delusional. I am pinpoint. I am the truth. I am of the way to tell you the light of what is so fucking dark in those pig motherfuckers that are doing this. I know that this sounds really bad and it's going to be hard for you to handle. But to my biological father and Michaela, please understand that this is the very truth. Now, for 8 years after Frankie got raped by Miguel, this continued to happen. With 8 people, this was never reported to the authorities until properly, where they got my mother and father, said, Julian, Frankie got raped, let's go help him. Let's go report to police, and we're going to go to court, and we're going to put him in prison. And let me tell you something. I was raped by my uncle with Frankie, and my grandpa died. My uncle ended up dying. I think he shot himself in the head, or he hung himself, but he killed himself, or he died mysteriously. I still don't know how he died, but he died. And I was told that he went to prison. So he got sent to prison because the authorities did show up. My dad showed up with a gun in our house, got a gun in our house, and he was going to go kill his own brother with a shotgun. I swear to God, he had the gun loaded. He was walking out the door and he was going to go kill him, his own brother, for raping me and Frankie. What do you think he's going to think of Ken Cooper not saying anything about Miguel raping Frankie and Sarah Cooper? Because Sarah Cooper was laughing at the funeral the day my father died. The day that my father died, and I was there in front of his casket, Sarah Cooper literally did this. And when she laughed, I turned around and she was covering up and like sort of standing in front of Miguel like this. Ah ha ha! My dad's casket and face was still there, in front of Julian, Frankie, me, and my uncle. And we're all there in the front line, in front of Frankie's uniformal outfit, Navy outfit. And we were sitting there, and Sarah Cooper did this, like to sort of stand in front of him, and did this like she was leaning toward Miguel. And she was looking directly at me. Because this is why she was turning me and Frankie toward against each other, because she wants to eradicate, because my mother doesn't know what's going on. And that's why they sent Kenneth. Kenneth did the same thing. He literally stayed in front of my dad's dead casket. So I want to make this very clear. They for about 7 to 8 years, there was a lot of rapes that happened. My mother got poisoned with leecha. Had this been reported to the police, you wouldn't have had so many faggots would have targeted Frankie and me. raped Frankie as a kid. Frankie could not walk home and couldn't sit down on his bike because he was hurting from his anal cavity so bad. All the fucking time he had been raped. I had been protecting him from other intruders snatching him off as we would walk home every day. I swear Skidell was one of them. Miguel was punking out Frankie all the fucking time. I had no idea. I thought he was making him a man. That's what I thought he was doing. And I didn't understand it because I didn't know Diana was a transgender. I had such recollection of any memory of Miguel hadn't ever raped Frankie because I was 4 to 5 years old when that happened. And I remember thinking, I was like, why do I remember something like that very vaguely? Am my mind dirty or something? No, I remember that because there were several times that when I came into the house and I told Frankie, oh, hey, Miguel works at our auto shops. And he looks over at me like this, like, and he would drop his, look at me like, and eyes would get red. And he would, go into this whole mental way of knowing that he was raped. Looking at me like, you don't remember? Or like, you saw it. And he didn't want, how are you supposed to say, oh, remember when I was, getting fucked in the ass and fucked in the mouth? How are you supposed to say that to your brother? He stays quiet. It's a proper thing. You see how Ken Cooper and Sarah Cooper won again for the goddamn Madison and Kenneth? And, their fucking kids? This is all about the white supremacy. This is a very prejudiced situation. That's why they're going to cause a division. That's why they're doing that. So I wanted to say this. For 7 or 8 years, I was doing this. Gave my father a fucking gun within a year. Why don't you go get that gun? Because you hadn't told my father yet. Because when my father, if he does find out, just go get that gun so he go kills that guy right over there. That guy's huge. Oh, you're just Ken Cooper of the police department, huh? Okay, about a year after that, I'm about 7 or 8 years old. He takes my father to Las Vegas and starts gambling with him on a 3 to 4 day trip, vacation. Just him and Ken Cooper. Ken Cooper wins a bunch of money. My dad won like $600 or like $1,000. Ken Cooper won a lot of money, a couple thousand or something like that. I don't remember what the amount was, but it was a gambling trip of money that they won, especially Ken Cooper. So I wanted to say this very carefully, Michaela, understanding that even when my father died, about 5 years later, committing suicide, they charged that I could not express anymore. This was, let's fight. Sarah Cooper was vengefully going after Frankie. My mother was in the car, intense, trying to train Frankie, put your fist up and fight this motherfucker for the family. And I'm telling you, when we were in that, me, Jillian, Frankie, and my mother, we were a unit. And we understood that Sarah and Ken are going after the house and they're there to harm us and devour everything. I know what I'm telling you. I'm just watching how these corrupted police officers, I saw a couple days ago, a police officer just drive by after going to the office and explaining that I got assaulted. They're using, and then other people walk by me and say, oh, how did you like jail? And mention, yeah, I don't want to go over there again, and using the police officers as their personal servants. That's why. So I want to make this video and make this very clear. You don't understand what they're covering up. They want to turn this around against me and then get me to say, oh, I was just sorry, thank you for the car. Oh, I got it all confused because they want to confuse everything. No, it does not change anything in the fact what was going on in that situation. Now, Madison, about 4 years ago, when I was over at Lawrence Community Shelter and Michaela was there and I worked at Walmart, Madison showed up, and I could have sworn it was her, and it was, but I didn't say anything. I stayed quiet like she was a stranger and started to target my dead sister. He goes, ew, no, it belongs over there. And she was looking at a pallet like it was my dead sister. That person has nothing to do with it, and that's what I talk about. Because they knew that then all that anger and all that, okay, I'm going to pick up this sniper, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to go after Sarah and Ken and that family. Or, Kenneth and Ken Cooper and Sarah Cooper. They know they're just going to put it against, okay, you see how, because it is. They were fine and Danny gave all the money in this white princess life to that girl. That's why. And she didn't have anything to do with it. But when somebody goes after them, like somebody goes after my mother, then guess what happens? That's what I'm talking about. So So I want to make this very clear, Michaela. She's gonna send guys. She's gonna send guys after you. They're all working in that one team. Now I almost beat the shit out of Kenneth out in the front yard on Christmas Day. I almost beat the shit out of him, and I was doing all sorts of fancy all fancy kick work and boxing and shit because I was in shape at the time, and I had done a lot of sports, and he got all intimidated because he had done some martial arts, but he doesn't understand that how well physically athletic I was at that time and how much training I was doing. Except I'm not a very bragging person about that, which I did a lot of things. It's just like I can play soccer and juggle a soccer ball incredibly well, and nobody knew about it. I played soccer for 7-8 years. So I want to make this very clear so that it goes in the support of my biological father. Michaela, please understand that these motherfuckers did this, and it was everyone else that did. There was nothing good about this. They want to turn the tables to get, this is why they're using their religious situation, so they can really target me to say, oh, okay, and then it alleviates everything. Oh, with your religion. No, it's just to get away the same way that a Marine picks up a gun and he goes and kills people in a battlefield, and he starts claiming that it was for the crucifix, to kill whatever it is. Or even if he doesn't, then use that to do the killings. That's what he's doing. That's why Ken Cooper built a church. And I was in the car with him, and he knew that I was going to find out. And he was in the car driving around with me and Frankie and Julian. And he was like, oh yeah, I built a church. Yeah, I own that house. And in that house, he was doing his full-blown, he was entirely using his tactics as an investigation officer and a theft detective, putting people away for 30 or 40 years as to target and entirely use it against me, Frankie, and Julian. Frankie was actually crying in the dock area. I'm not telling, I swear to God. Now they're going to go and watch when I go pick up stuff on the dock on the shipping area on packages over here. I don't know what I'm telling you, but that's another story. This is how calculating it is. You have no idea, Michaela. Please be careful to my biological father. I'm with you. If you're still alive, I'm with you, man. I understand. I understand these faggots. I understand this war. You don't understand how well I'm good at this. I know that in the world that I'm in, it's these faggots. We're the real deal, and I'm appreciative of what you have done and the things and everything that's going. Even if you weren't in the picture, understand that you were my biological father. You did have a daughter, and all the things that go on it's those pigs that did this to you. That's why. They were doing this at my job site. They were all fencing out for this fucking piece of shit. All this is about now is to make sure that when he dies, he's going to get a proper burial. Just like Sarah Cooper was laughing over at my father's, who the man you gave me up to. This is very calculated. This is very careful of what they're doing. These are very evil people, very dark and cynical of what they did. They don't want to pay for it. They're going to use every celebrity. They're going to use every person and dollar and every force of power they can for the supremacy. But I'm here to support you. I hope you didn't have a stroke. I hope you're healthy. I hope I get to live long enough. I've had a transplant. I don't know how much time I'm going to have, but at least I made what is right. This whole crucifix and religion shit, be careful with that shit, okay? There is a better light of direct paths in doing what's right. They just want to use that as a toilet paper and use this as a toilet machine to kill and devour. That's all this is with no justice. They want to cover up the horrors that had happened that led up to that situation, because they still live comfortable, still get their money, and still get treasured by their LBG, police officers, and the celebrities, and all the stuff that's going on. So hopefully this is going to be informal to you. And my mother, I've already been insulted. Next time I talk to my mother, that's the number one guy I'm going to be bringing up, and the other individual the next time I talk to my mother in person. You want to come and assault me and tell me who you're controlling my mother because she riding over by a forklift, and you want to pretend to be my father? The psychologists and the people that are sitting is Christian Novell, who's the manager, works here at Crescent Butte Hotel, ski resort, and I'm at the Elevation Hotel, room 207.